What's up, guys? Max here, back with another episode of the ScuttleButt Show. I hope you're having a great week. It's Wednesday out there in the United States, which means it's Thursday morning out here in Okinawa, Japan, so the week's almost over. As a reminder, tomorrow we're going to have Q&A, or Quanda, if you will. So Fridays are going to be Q&A. We'll do that, a little story time, maybe something like that. But let me hit you guys with a little bit about yesterday. I want to thank Scotty Hastings for being on the show yesterday. And I just want to tell you guys, everything that I do on this channel, everything that I do is to ultimately have episodes like yesterday. I just saw Nugget said the intro music isn't playing. Darn it, that's annoying. Sorry about that. I also am seeing that on my screen now, so my bad. Everything, been to battles. No, you're right on time. Everything that I do on this show, I do so that ultimately I can have episodes like yesterday. Rambo, what's up? Having veterans on the show, talking about success, talking about overcoming challenges in life, talking about war, talking about life in general is what this show is all about. Ultimately, I love talking trash. I love making the videos, going into character, all that. But yesterday is what the show is all about. So I hope you guys had a chance to check out Scotty Hastings and his music and his channel. Go show him some love, stream his songs, all that. I would greatly appreciate it. Sorry, you hear my dog barking in the background. It's something going on out there. Probably celebrating yesterday's episode of the show. So today we have a full episode. We've got news about Space Force. We've got news about Afghanistan, news about an Olympian, news about missing guns, news about hometown heroes. We've got it all today. It's going to be a great episode. Yeah, brother, those things are always the best videos. Thank you, Rambo, very much. Justin, what's up? Justin, who sent me a bunch of great information this morning. He's always hooking me up with stories. I appreciate that, Justin. Thank you for being here today. We are going to talk about those. Let's see. Intro. Yeah, sorry. Thanks about the intro music. That'll be fixed for tomorrow. I don't know what happened with that. That's odd. That'll be fixed for tomorrow. Never happen again. So let's get right into what today's first story is. We've got Space Force Season 2 starts filming. What did you guys think about Space Force? Did you guys like that? I kind of, to be completely honest, liked the show Space Force. I love Steve Carell. I thought the show was really good. It was a bold move on behalf of the crew over at Space Force to write, fund, produce, deliver, right, premiere on streaming on Netflix, a whole season of a show about Space Force effectively as soon as it was announced. I mean, how did they do it? How did they do it? I kind of did like it. So it says here, filming has officially begun on Netflix's Space Force Season 2 with actor Ben Schwartz, who was also in Parks and Rec, posting an image of himself alongside several castmates. So it looks like there will be a Season 2. A synopsis for the Netflix series reads, Space Force is a workplace comedy drama series that's centered on a group of people tasked with establishing the 6th branch of the United States Armed Forces, the United States Space Force. It follows the efforts of General Mark Nard to get boots on the moon by 2024 per the president's orders. If you guys remember, spoiler alert, if I can say the word, is that Eddie Wong in the background? Yeah, I think that is who that is. It's a really good show. I thought it was good. Maybe not the best ever. It's no Office, but it's definitely not bad. That's a bold move, Kyle. Let's see how it works out for them. So at the end of Season 1, they had made their way into space. There was a lot of cliffhangers at the end of Season 1. So let's see where they... I kind of want to see what happens. I mean, the way that they left it at the end of Season 1 was like some heavy stuff. They had some heavy stuff going on. So I am curious to see where they take this with Season 2. Are you guys excited to see Space Force? Did anybody out there watch it? Did anybody in the chat actually watch Season 1 of Space Force? Let me see. I'm going to monitor the comments for a second. Let's see. It's The Office, but it's in space. It's not like The Office. It's because in the sense that The Office really defined a whole genre of comedy where they did like they know that they're being filmed comedy, you know, like where they talk to the camera. They're part of a documentary. Do you know who Eddie Wong is? Hang on. Let me see. Hang on. Do I know who Eddie Wong is? I guess I better check. I guess I'd better check who that is. Is that, that's Fresh Off the Boat. That's what I thought. No, it's not Eddie Wong. But I don't remember who this character's name is, but he is in a lot of stuff. So let's see. I Googled and found out who he is, the guy in the back. I have yet to watch it. You learn something every day. Yeah, maybe it's not Eddie Wong, but it is a recognizable face. He's a recognizable actor. I think he's a comedian as well. So what's up, Chris? Welcome to the chat. yet to watch it. Let's see. Yeah, so it's not The Office. It's a scripted show. So it plays out like a scripted show like Friends or something like that. Maybe that's not a great example. It's a little bit more seriously filmed than that. I don't know. It's got a giant set. It goes into space. It's got family drama. It's got everything. So it's pretty good. They did a good job. I was pretty impressed with it overall, considering how quickly they had to turn it around. And I think it's cool that they're going to make another one. So I'm going to watch it. I'm pretty sure I'll be watching it. So there's some crazy stories today. We're going to get up to the crazy stories. Let's see. Were you doing more talking to a Navy SEAL video? By the way, hilarious. Were you doing more talking to a Navy SEAL video? I'm not sure what you mean. It is more like Parks and Rec. It's more like film like Parks and Rec. I'm not sure what you mean, Ed. I did cover the guy who's fighting the war against the Bible. I thought it was that story is too funny to me. That guy's too funny. Like, of all the causes you could take up in the world, right? Of all the causes you could take up into the world, you're going to have religious symbols of Christianity removed from the government, which I kind of get. Like, I could be convinced with a good argument, but his argument is terrible. His argument was, if the Bible's there, we're going to nuke other countries. What are you talking about, dude? Are you insane? He's a madman, and he's out there begging for money. He's a madman begging for money. So I always do love to point out, I love talking about Afghanistan, and I love pointing out maddening hypocrisy. I can't ever just stroll past hypocrisy. It's my least favorite thing in the world. Oh, by the way, let me get on a side note really quick. I posted on my Instagram story something along the lines of, I no longer wish to be a part of this world. I don't want to live in this world anymore. And then the next story was a Vice YouTube video. The headline was, "The Gang That's Stealing Your Puppies." And if there was one line I thought would never be crossed, it's puppies. Like, I mean, how cold can you be? How cruel can you be? What they're doing in Europe is these gangs are going around to, because of quarantine. So here's how horrible everybody is. This makes me hate everybody. I'm just going to rant for a second. You guys can let me know what you think about this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Here's how horrible everybody is, right? Because we know about puppy mills. Yes, been to battles. He did say that. In his video, if you watch my video, he goes, the idea of Christian values being a part of our government when we have nukes at our disposal is like unacceptable. It's the most ludicrous, insane stuff I've ever heard. So watching this Vice documentary, here's what's going on. Here's how horrible everybody is. There are people who, because of quarantine, right, because of COVID, they decided, they'll get a puppy. There's a puppy trend going on. Right off the bat, I'm worried that as soon as the quarantine is officially over and everyone goes back to normal, puppies will be getting abandoned. Families will just be giving away their puppies. It's horrible. I mean, come on. John Wick. Didn't Keanu Reeves make a movie about this? Yes. Puppy thieves. Oh, I hope they get a John Wick dog and they get John Wicked. So what they're doing is, there's not enough puppies to fulfill the demand. There's about 8 times as many of a demand for puppies as there is a supply. So these gangs are going to, like, Romania and, Eastern European countries, stealing puppies, putting them in these god-awful kennel conditions, slicing out their microchips, which is cruel punishment, cruel torture to these animals, putting in black market, other country microchips, shipping them to other countries, and then selling them for 3 to 10 times of a marked up price of what a dog would go for people who want dogs because they're bored in quarantine. And it's the most sick things I've ever heard of in my life. It's absolutely horrible. What were we talking about? The global puppy trafficking. Yes, we're talking about global puppy trafficking right now. We'll get back on normal subject here in a second. But I was so disturbed by this global puppy trafficking that I had to just get on there and say something about it on my Instagram story last night, because it's just so sick in every possible way. Why does this sound way cuter than it actually is? Yes, it is not. Global puppy trafficking is not cute. It is not super legit at all, one bit. It's disgusting. And dogs have microchips. Where do they put this microchip? Oh, under the back of the neck, like back here. Sorry about the mic. Hit the mic. Yeah, kind of back in the neck. They put a little microchip back there, and this is very common stuff. It's kind of the standard for dogs now. Our dog has a microchip. It just is like basically they scan it, and there is a serial number in it, and it's connected to a registry of where these dogs come from and who owns them. So yeah, not super legit. But back to, sorry about the rant, okay? I just had to explain my Instagram story last night for anybody who saw it. If there's, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be a person sometimes. Speaking of, I'm gonna work on my segues here. Speaking of animal cruelty, one of the worst places I've ever seen animal cruelty was in the Middle East. They are not good to animals out there. Let me tell you what. And like I said, I cannot stroll past hypocrisy without saying something. And we've got one right here. Blood will be on his hands. Biden must order evacuation of Afghan allies, lawmakers say. So the claim here is, 2 Army veterans who serve on the House Armed Services Committee delivered a stark message Wednesday to President Joe Biden. Act now to evacuate thousands of Afghan interpreters and their families who worked with U.S. personnel, or there will be consequences. If Joe Biden doesn't act and he doesn't get these people out, blood will be on his hands and his administration's hands, and I, for one, will very publicly and very loudly hold him accountable for that. I've been talking about getting Afghani interpreters out of Afghanistan. We covered U.S. of Al. We've got codename Johnny Walker on the show. I've been talking about this for a long time. You guys watch the ScuttleButt Show. I'm always ahead of the game. I feel like Justin said this to me this morning, that he feels like the higher-ups are just watching the ScuttleButt Show and doing whatever I say. And that's cool. Stop puppy trafficking and get out the interpreters who worked for Americans who we promised we would do something for before we fully exfil out of Iraq. But it is funny to see people who a year ago were saying, you know, the president's a hero for getting the Americans, bringing the Americans home and all the supporters. And now they're saying we can't leave without, you know, getting out everybody else. The blood's on Biden's hands. It's kind of ridiculous. The blood is not on Joe Biden's hands. The blood is not on Donald Trump's hands. In this case, the blood is on the hands of the people who kill the innocent Afghanis. Okay? The only person to blame for the death, the murder of an Afghani in Afghanistan is the person who murdered him or her. Okay? I hate this pushing the blame away from the trigger man, so to speak. It's totally sick. So who's to blame for if an Afghan interpreter gets killed by a terrorist? The goddamn terrorist, okay? And we have failed for the last 12 years to, as a country, push towards making Afghanistan a more secure place for the people who live there. And multiple presidents, 4 now, have shirked the contract that we proposed to all these Afghani and Iraqi people who worked with the United States, that they would get an opportunity for them and their families to come to America. We just never fulfilled our end of it in so many cases. And for so many people, it was too late. Too late. And they never will have the chance. So we've got this huge crisis of the Americans are leaving Afghanistan, and anybody who fought with or provided information to is now going to be targeted by the terrorists as they inevitably wage massive scale war against the government of Afghanistan. And in many cases will probably succeed because Afghanistan has a super hard time organizing its military and motivating its military and police to, for one, stay loyal to the cause, and 2, actually gain any ground against the terrorists out there, the Taliban. Now, Taliban don't consider themselves terrorists. They consider themselves a political party, and they want to take control of Afghanistan. But the tactics that they use to do so are textbook terrorism. That's why I call it Taliban, and I think everyone could probably agree logically that the Taliban is a terrorist organization because they kill, they threaten, they torture, they kidnap, they harass anybody who doesn't go along with what they say. It's terrorism for their political gains. It's terrorism. It's the definition of terrorism. Let's see. What's going on in the chat over here? So anyway, I should wrap that up with saying I do wish the best for all those out there who served alongside Americans in Iraq and Afghanistan. I hope that they find some way to get out of harm's way and that the governments of those countries will step up and put a fight to protect those people and fight against the threats that they face. Will they? Who knows? You know the spot in the back of your neck where you enter the matrix. Yes, that's so true. I joined at the best time. Please do continue. Use your super secret classified training that no one should bother looking up because they won't find it, and go take them out. You are right. So it's funny you say that. Hori Harrison. Ori, if I didn't say your name right, I apologize. And welcome to the chat. And also, Al-San, welcome to the chat. Mudrock, it's nice to see you here too. And everybody, welcome everybody to the chat. It's funny you say that because one thing I was thinking about that puppy trafficking story, which really, if you can't tell, has me fired up, is it seems like if I was in charge of the world, here's what I would do. Okay, there's puppy traffickers. Well, if somebody tries to steal your puppy, do whatever you got to do to stop them. You will not be prosecuted for stopping a puppy trafficker. If somebody attacks your family, you will not be prosecuted. There's a whole thing right now about rethinking law enforcement, right? Obviously, we've all heard this conversation. Rethinking law enforcement, rethinking the role of policing in the United States. But I'm sure, it seems like around the world, people are having crises of their own in their own countries. Well, you can't simultaneously disarm the public and disarm law enforcement. That's a no-brainer. There's bad people out there who are going to do bad things in that case. No-brainer. It's just going to be the way it is. But if you're going to take away the government's responsibility in protecting people, enable people to protect themselves, and then I'd be cool with it. Hey, I'm good. If I had the green light to do whatever I had to do to stop a puppy thief, I guess what? There's going to be a bunch of puppies in my yard all of a sudden because I would love to have the opportunity to do the right thing and stop bad people. It's like why we joined the military. So it boggles my mind that we can have a conversation about disarming citizens and disarming law enforcement at the same time. That's just so stupid. If we all had the honest to goodness right to protect ourselves in a threatening situation, then it'd be a different story. I think it'd be probably most effective if everyone knew that everyone else had the right to defend themselves. Like, free and clear. You attack somebody and you get jacked up, you shouldn't have attacked somebody. That's it. That's just my 2 cents on it. We do have a very bad relationship with animals and pets, sadly. In China, they eat them. I would only eat a Chihuahua. Yeah, in Japan, it's pretty bad too. Japan doesn't treat dogs great as either. China, Middle East treats animals bad. Whoa, we thought they were far too good. Agreed, we got to get the Terps out of Dodge. They deserve it and need it. Larry, what's up? Not good to animals. They're not too good to people either. Not much in the way of tolerance in the Middle East. True. Very true. Biden watching the show now. Feel like the Middle East is way too large of an area to be generalized. It's kind of saying that Britain is on the same level as Ukraine or Eastern Europe. Let's see. That man is not my president. He's the president of the United States. I think we should use the profits from the ScuttleButt strip club to fly and escort allies like interpreters to the U.S. Man, that's a cause that I would dance for. Let's see. As much as they might not say it, Taliban is pretty much the government with the amount of power they have. It's true. Taliban has a ton of power. Political party doesn't try to overthrow a country that they love. Well, they don't necessarily love the country. They want power. They want full power. I feel like the Taliban will take back over if the U.S. force is not there. 100%. 100%. A cop said this, handle it yourself once a kid who called 911 and the kid died and the cop got suspended. Well, yeah, that's not good law enforcement there at all. Children are different. You're saying that's a child? And wait, where did that even happen? Can you put some more information in there? Drop a link or something? Wouldn't that promote civilian vigilantism? Well, what I'm saying is if there's going to be no police, then people should just have the free and clear to go handle things themselves. If you're going to not let the police do their job, let the citizens do it. And then just see what happens there. See how well that works out for you. The new prime minister of Israel is doing the same thing. They call him right-wing, but the guy's politicians are far left. Policies. Pronunciation spot on. Just watching from New Zealand. Love your Battlefield 2042 reaction vids. Thanks very much. I appreciate you tuning in. More to come on that kind of stuff. And we do gaming here on this channel too, so make sure you're on the lookout for live streams for gaming. Probably Sibley, but we have given the Afghans a choice to fight back. That's a cause I would dance for. Yeah, let's see. I see the channel growing massively. Keep it up. Thank you, Zeratical. I appreciate that very much. Welcome to the chat. Funny you say that, sir, because India have now vigilantism issue right now, and it's pretty scary in some states. You could get killed if some kid even accuses you of eating beef. Jeez, that's horrible. You know, there's vigilantism in the United States right now. Look at the Jonathan Pentland, right? The story we covered, Jonathan Pentland, the gentleman who, you can go watch that whole video on my channel, but the gentleman who got called a racist for what he says was defending his neighbors and family against somebody who was causing problems in the neighborhood, and a mob went out, forced them out of their home because they were afraid, and then caused massive damage to their home, and there was no penalties. So we already have vigilantism going on. That's what's happening in Mexico. Self-defense groups. The problem is they are being funded by the opposition cartel. Yeah, it's jacked up. ScuttleButt Strip Club is super legit. The Air Force wants you to dance. Yes. The Air Force is getting crazier and crazier every day. I feel like the Air Force would be the first to have a strip club on their base because they have tattoo parlors now. So what's next? If you have a tattoo parlor, why wouldn't you have a ScuttleButt Strip Club on base? It's a logical next step. So we've got, you know I love my hometown hero stories. We had a few this week already. You know I do. Marine honored on Okinawa for helping save Japanese restaurant workers' life. So we've got a hometown hero story. We've got a Marine, and he's on Okinawa. He's my neighbor, probably. So we've got Corporal Dominic Bonner, who's a CBR, chemical, biological, radiological technician, nuclear defense specialist with the 1st Marine Aircraft Wing, the 1st MAW, an Okinawa-based Marine who rendered life-saving aid to a Japanese restaurant worker earlier this spring, has received a medal for his actions. Good for him. Marine Corporal Dominic Bonner was out having lunch on, April 4th, when he was told an employee needed medical attention, a statement said. I feel like because this is the Marine Corps and this is Okinawa, the headline of this story could have also been, Marine who was violating COVID policy by eating off base at a restaurant faces NJP after the police spotted him there because he was giving CPR to an injured or an injured restaurant employee. But luckily, that's not the case here. He was told that an employee needed medical attention. The man was lying in the kitchen area, motionless, without a pulse. Jeez Louise. According to the statement, Bonner began chest compressions, taking over for one of the man's fatigued coworkers. He provided the life-saving aid for over 10 minutes. If you guys don't know, CPR is exhausting. 10 minutes of CPR is absolutely physically exhausting. He provided the life-saving aid for 10 minutes until paramedics arrived and took him to a nearby local hospital. Information about the man's ailment and current condition were not available. Hopefully he's okay. At least he got to a higher level of care. That's the whole point of CPR on site, is to get him to a higher level of care. He got the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, the NAM. It's awarded to service, or not. I guess the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal is not the NAM, right? It's just that's the Navy Achievement Medal. God, I can't remember anymore. Below the rank of colonel for meritorious, it's awarded to people below the rank of colonel for meritorious service or achievement in combat and non-combat. The medal can either be used to recognize sustained performance or a specific achievement. So you can get what's called a single event NAMs, which is like a spot NAM type thing. He is the definition of an outstanding non-commissioned officer, and the fact that he handled the situation the way he did doesn't surprise me. It's all about looking out for fellow brothers and sisters of mankind. He needed help, and there was no way I was going to stand back and watch him die, he says. So, good for him. Giving military a good name out here in Okinawa, Japan. We need it. After covering that story about the guy who was facing years in hard labor prison for sexually assaulting a woman at 5:30 in the morning after coming out of the bar. But good for him. Got that award, helped somebody, hopefully saved a life. Hopefully that person is doing well. Whatever the cause was of their injury, that's way to spring into action unexpectedly. You don't think you're going to have to do that when you go out to lunch, but the Marine Corps is always ready for action. Let's see, always first. The yakisoba is to die for. Nice action on spot. Hoorah. Close to death, he saved a man's life. CPR is exhausting, but to this Marine, however, yeah, no problem. Give that man a shot of Habusaki. Yes. I have not had Habusaki to this day. I'm not that interested in it, to be totally honest. I can't. I'm like a little bit of a germaphobe, and when I see that snake in there, I just go, no, thank you. I've also been yet to be bitten by a habu, and I'm trying to keep that way too. We've got. I'm enjoying the chat today. It's nice to see some new faces in the chat. Must be doing something right. Let's see. Give that man a shot at Habusaki. Super legit. Let me give him the super legit. Boom. Let's go. Give him that super legit. He earned it. So we've got, we've been talking on this show. Wussy. Who's a wussy? Oh, me, because I won't take Habusaki. Yeah, maybe a little bit. I'm a wussy. I'm a wuss when it comes to spiders. BM Bray, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Nice to have you in here. I'm a wuss when it comes to spiders and germs. So those are the two things. Give that Marine more than just a cigarette and MRE pancake as a king. Yes. I did. I have a photo. I'll try to show you guys this tomorrow. King says, I love your videos. You're hilarious, and you seem to belong in front of a camera. Thank you. Bro, we both know you've done dirtier things than Habusaki. Yeah, that's true. But I guess Habusaki wouldn't be the first thing I would do that day. Maybe give me a minute. Maybe hit me up in the middle of a day drinking session with some Habusaki when devil may care attitude kicks in. You can tell the difference between a dirtbag Marine and an honorable one, super legit. What were we talking? What were we doing? We were talking. Gosh, I'm so excited to see some new faces in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for being here. As always, for all the new people here, I want to remind you, you can become a member of this channel, get that special icon next to your name. You can buy merch at ScuttleButtShow.com, linked in the description. We have Patreon, all the ways that you can support the channel. Right now, a great way to support the channel is just sharing the videos and inviting people to come watch the lives. But back on topic, we've been talking a lot about, let's see, I see Ed dropped a comment here. Let's see what that is. We've got, have you play Tekken Max? I used to play like Tekken 3 back in the day in the arcade. So we've talked a lot on this show about Navy SEALs. We've had MC with a $2.99 super chat. Thank you very much for your support, for your overwhelming, encouraging, consistent support. That means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. Thank you. It always, when I see a super chat come across the screen, I always get the chills. I always get the hair on my arm standing up I'm so honored. So thank you very much. The 2042 video was hella right. Thank you. Love me some deadpan comedy, and that was perfect. Okay, you got it. More of those coming for sure. I say 4K for July 4th. 4K, let's do it. That would be awesome. We're well on our way. I feel like we're only about 200 subs away. The military must be so embarrassed. More subs. Let's go. More subs. Let's do it. We're always trying to get new subs, new members, new patrons, all that. If you join Patreon as an elite patron on your second month of being a patron, I send you out a free t-shirt. So there's always that. You can always get that free ScuttleButt Show custom t-shirt. Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 was super legit. I do love that. I do love some old school Mortal Kombat. So, okay, here we go. Back on topic. I have not been to any. Well, wait, I have been to World War II reenactments in Virginia. I think I went to one. I don't remember exactly the details of it, but I think it was just happening and we happened to stumble upon it. But yeah, that's the only time. So we've been talking a lot about Navy SEALs on the channel since the beginning of the channel. I come out of Naval Special Warfare, the Navy. I was in the Navy. So I have, I always want to cover those stories when they come across my blotter here, my news feed. And I saw this one today, and when you see the headline, I know a lot of people are going to see the headline. They're going to be like, here we go. We've got another woke Navy branch going, it's the end of Special Forces, the end of the United States. What am I talking about? U.S. Navy's elite SEALs look to expand diversity. So what do you guys think about this? We've got a picture here of Buds candidates in Coronado, which it's so funny. You watch the guys in Buds down in Coronado, they're freezing, they're suffering in the water. And literally right there on the beach there, you can kind of see like Hotel del Coronado is right there. Coronado Beach, named nicest beach in America for multiple years. And there will be like some 5-year-old splashing around, just sitting there in the water, having the time of their lives. A little 5-year-old girl. I wish I could be as tough in cold water as any 5-year-old is. They just don't feel that. They just have no limit to like how much they can endure. It's crazy. You take them out to a beach, they'll just go right into the water. Doesn't matter how cold it is. They're splashing around, just sitting there looking around like they don't have any care in the world. God. I always say, I wish I could be 50% as tough as my dog or any dog who will just sit outside. They don't care. They're just excited to be involved. They'll go for a run. They'll go outside in the rain. They don't care about anything. So what is this? I know a lot of people are going to have this knee-jerk reaction to this headline about diversity is not important. We should be focused on just getting the best of the best. Well, here's the deal, you guys. If you read this article a little bit more, the best of the best in the military, they're not over there in Arizona State University hanging out, playing lacrosse, waiting to join the Navy. I mean, there are a lot of great people out there, but you can get as many of those as you want, and 85% of people still fail. You know who some of the toughest sons of guns that I've ever worked with in the Navy are? Some of the best sailors and Marines and airmen and soldiers I've ever worked with are people who came out of bad situations, people who came out of broken homes, bad parents, homeless, poverty, grew up with sick family. Like, all these hardships that people endure as children make them strong adults. The problem is a lot of times these people have no way to get into the military. They don't know it as an option, or they don't know what's out there. This article is talking about finding those people who are, by all measures, the right person for the job, but haven't had the opportunity. So what does it say here? The Navy never had to look too hard to fill its elite SEAL force. For years, eager recruits poured in to try out for Naval Special Warfare teams, but they were overwhelmingly white. Now, Naval Special Warfare Command leaders are trying to turn that around, developing programs to seek out recruits from more diverse regions of the country. You have to, if you're recruiting for the right people, the people that you need, you kind of have to go into all different areas and find those people. Like, they're out there. How much work are you going to put in to find them? Or are you just expecting everybody to come to you? We have been passive in the way that we recruit. We're SEAL team, come find us, said Rear Admiral Wyman Howard III, top commander for Naval Special Warfare, in an interview with the Associated Press. Now he said, we have to go where diversity lives. Army leaders have been doing some of the same things. Lieutenant General Fran Baudot, head of the Army Special Operations Command, said they have loosened some restrictions on who can try out for Special Forces units, which included requirements on the amount of time in service or rank a soldier had done. And the Army has created new specialized teams to better reach out more diverse populations. What they're referring to is the Army, for a long time, had Special Forces, Green Berets, right, were only able to try out if they had already been in the Army for, like, basically one enlistment. You had to go join the Army, do some time, make E5, I think. Then you could try out to become a Green Beret. Then they started the 18 X-ray program, which was you can join the Army and go right away to boot camp, to school, and then to selection. What do they call it? SFAS, Special Forces Assessment and Selection. And a lot of people were like, that's the end of Green Berets. That's it. That's the end. I guess the Army's just totally weak now because they're just going to let kids come in and join Special Forces. That's never going to work. It works great. There's a lot of great 18 X-ray Green Berets out there. So every time this happens, people lose their minds. Then it happens and everyone kind of forgets. And then years later, they're like, oh, they're doing that now and everything's okay? That's so crazy. Commando forces, particularly the officers, tend to be far less diverse than the military as a whole. This is true, by the way. I will tell you, the SEAL teams are massively lacking in diversity. There is basically white dudes with great hair. I mean, that's the overwhelming majority. And we've had black Navy SEALs on the show. We've had a diverse group of SEALs. There are diverse SEALs out there, but it is definitely not a highly represented group. That's just true. I mean, it's a fact of the matter. As of March 2021, a full 95% of all SEAL and combatant and SWCC officers were white, 2% were black. According to Naval Special Warfare statistics provided to the AP, the officers' core of the Army Special Forces is 87% white and 2% black. The enlisted ranks are only slightly more diverse. About 84% of the Navy SEAL and SWCC enlisted troops are white and 2% are black. The greater diversity comes in a number of American Indian, Alaskan Native, and those same multiple races. The Army's enlisted Special Forces are 84% white, but the percentage of black goes up to 4%. Now, you're not going to find me standing up here saying that race is the deciding factor on who should be in what job, okay? Period. But what I will tell you is there are many, many qualified candidates out there of every race, and it's a matter of recruiting them. Now, it's difficult to recruit people to come do a job like Navy SEAL, Green Beret, CCT, Raider. It's not easy to convince somebody to pick up and leave the life that they have to go to this extremely difficult, likely to get hurt. I mean, it's almost guaranteed you're going to get injuries or die, but definitely injuries, body wear and tear, all that, for probably less competitive pay than you are capable of making on the outside. If you're the person that the Navy really wants to be a SEAL, you'd probably succeed anywhere. But here, what they're saying is they're going to go try to find these people, and I suspect they're going to find more enlisted candidates if they're going to. What they're implying here is they're going to go to like ghettos, urban areas. I mean, it says here, some suggest that minority youth in urban areas may not be exposed to troops who do more elite jobs, or that they tend to go where they see a greater ethnic mix. So they're probably going to find more candidates for enlisted troops out there, because I think what they're implying is these people are probably also not, college graduates. They're probably not, in many cases, probably not even high school graduates, to be honest. So they're probably going to get a lot of enlisted people, and then they need thousands of people to try out to get dozens of people to succeed. So it's no matter what you do, the process to become a Navy SEAL is going to take 1 to 2 years, and it's going to wash out tons of people from either quitting or injuries. Like, people are still going to quit. So if you quit, that's it. You're done. They're not going to not let minority individuals quit. It doesn't make any sense. So I think it's great. I think you're going to find a lot of really good people. And then if they do find those people, and those people are willing to put in the time to train physically, to train mentally, and then go to BUD/S and finish the program, they'll be great teammates. It's just people don't have the chance to go try out for these things or get recruited in the first place. So I do wonder, there are special warfare recruiters out there. There's the SEAL SWCC Challenge team, and those are, active duty Navy people who drive around in the SEAL SWCC man, and they go to places and they go, hey, you want to, here, got a pull-up bar right here. If you can do 5 pull-ups, we'll let you go to BUD/S. And it's kind of this crazy thing. So I do wonder if they've made these kind of efforts before. Senior leaders have few answers when asked why minority recruits haven't gravitated to special operations jobs in larger numbers. Some suggest that minority youth in urban areas may not be exposed to troops due to more elite jobs. For the SEALs in particular, leaders say young minorities have less access to pools or be less focused on swimming and may not be attracted to jobs that require high levels of water expertise. That's probably true too. If you don't have a pool, if you've never swam, you would have to do a lot of training. You'd have a lot of catching up to do, since becoming a Navy SEAL involves a lot of swimming. But there are lots of people out there who the first time they've ever been in the ocean was when they went to Coronado. I can tell you, I've met plenty of people. First time they ever went into the ocean was when they went to Coronado and went to BUD/S. For SEALs in particular, okay, so I already read that. Let's see. Most troops who join SEAL teams or special forces want to concentrate on combat missions, not recruiting, with fewer minorities overall. That leaves a tiny number that can be recruiters. And we saw, when we were looking at David Goggins, they put him on the Navy's commercial in 2010. Look how bad they want. 2010, 11 years ago. Look how bad they wanted to represent minorities in the SEAL teams. They took David Goggins basically out of the operator role and made him a commercial. They made him a face of the Navy. They made him a poster child. That's how bad. This isn't new. This is not new. So I don't want anyone to think that this is 2021. Just people are just all of a sudden coming out of the woodworks with this kind of stuff. Not new. This has been going on for a long time. I remember having conversations about diversity in SEAL teams back when I was a junior person in the Navy. It's nothing new. No big shocker, brand new policies here. But they're saying that the number of recruiters or minority recruiters is going to be changing. Cheeseneek is Space Dog. Okay, welcome back, Cheeseneek, as your Cheeseneek now. Whatever you identify as. If you identify as cheese now, then that's fine with me. Let's see. Howard has set up outreach command that will send troops to cities like Chicago and Detroit to reach out to populations that otherwise may not be thinking about special warfare as a potential choice. Meanwhile, Bedeau said Special Forces Command has supercharged its marketing. We've become less shy about advocating for ourselves and explaining what it is we do and how we do it. I guess right now the SEAL teams need all the help they can get with their PR, because they had that story we covered on CBS about the SEALs, the active duty SEALs who went on there and said that the SEAL teams are in big trouble, which was so crazy to me. I still am kind of shook from that. The fact that active duty SEALs went on TV to say that the SEAL teams needed help. That's insane. I never thought that I would ever see the day when something like that would happen. Bonkers. So, I don't know. Things are crazy right now all across the board. Let me see. Let's catch up on the chat. I don't think we need to stand against that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter at all. Look at Rudy Reyes, a diverse wide range of capability. Makes sense. How's no standing against this is beyond me. SFs are better off with younger guys, right? I mean, they would be able to serve more, so it would be more profitable. It's true. There is something to that. There's also something to say about maturity as well. There is, let's see, how can I describe this to you guys? I wish I could draw on my screen right now. There's a graph, okay? I don't know how this looks. I'm looking at like a mirror image of myself. There's a graph, okay? An XY chart. The X is quality of work. The Y is quality of person, okay? So you could be a really high performer on the X value and a really low quality person, right? Puts you down in the corner here. You don't want to be in that corner. You could be a really high quality person, really low quality, low performer. You don't want to be there either. And you don't want to be low performer, low quality human, right? You want to be in the quadrant of high performance, high quality person, okay? That's what the Navy's looking for. They're looking for the high performing, this quadrant. How am I doing? Subscribe so I can make more boxes on the screen. The quadrant you want to be in is quality work, quality person. Quality work, high performance, high character, okay? It's like the X is performance, the Y is character. So you want to be there. So that's what they're looking for. And if they get every 18-year-old, they might not get the highest character and probably not the highest quality work highest performance as a result. Because because you're young and your body is unbreakable, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to provide quality professional work in the technical skills that the Navy wants you to have. What were you in the Navy and how did you decide that's what you wanted? Having a hard time figuring out what role is right for me. Alexander, come back tomorrow with that question. I agree with the XY graph, not CRT. I don't like CRT either. So, and I don't think that's what this is. Let's see. I heard that every year about half of the new sailors try out for Navy SEALs. I don't think that that's right. Definitely not right. So yes, definitely not right. What's the difference between Marine Recon and Marine Raiders? Recon used to be like the closest thing Marines had to Special Forces. Recon does it's what it says: reconnaissance, intelligence gathering, taking pictures, mapping things out. Raiders are like door kickers, special operations, direct action missions, and the first time that the Marine Corps has had a branch in SOCOM. So yeah, Alex, come back with that question tomorrow for Q&A day, and I will get into it with you because it's kind of a long story. Real quick side, not side story, not to diminish this at all, but I thought this was interesting. I don't know if you guys remember this. Olympian Simone Biles' brother, an Army soldier, is now free after murder charges against him were dismissed. So if you guys remember this story, Olympian Simone Biles, somebody went to her family's house and killed 3 members of her family. A judge in Ohio and her brother was arrested for it. A judge in Ohio has dismissed murder charges filed against the brother of Olympic gymnast champion Simone Biles, ruling Tuesday that prosecutors did not give enough evidence to sustain a conviction in 2018. That was at a New Year's Eve party. Moments after Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court Judge Joan Sinnenberg issued a ruling that acquitted Tevin Biles Thomas, a woman in the court said, "You killed my baby," and attacked him. So there's definitely, same time tomorrow, yes. So there's definitely thoughts that amongst the family that he did do it. But defense lawyers had sought the judge's ruling, which also acquitted Biles of voluntary manslaughter and felonious assault charges. They said there was no forensic evidence connecting their client to the killings and that no witnesses testified they saw Biles Thomas shoot. So that's compelling. No forensic evidence and no witnesses. And it goes on to say, Biles, a U.S. Army soldier, has maintained his innocence. His first trial ended in a mistrial last month after jurors said they had read legal paperwork that inadvertently was included in evidence given to them to review. So there was evidence mishandling. Authorities have said gunfire broke out when a group of men arrived uninvited to the party in 2018. 19-year-old Delvante Johnson, 21-year-old Toshan Banks, and 23-year-old Devon Gibson were all killed. Simone Biles said on Twitter she was struggling with her brother's arrest and that her heart ached for the victims and their families. So, And I think they were all related. So I think everyone there was related somehow. So it's a horrible situation. I remember when this happened, hearing about this. Simone Biles, obviously, American hero gymnast, legendary. Her performances in the Olympics in gymnastics. And that's a horrible experience to go through. You think about celebrities who've had family members murdered. Michael Jordan comes to mind. And they have to live through that in the public eye. You know? We're all watching how this goes down. And then to have her brother arrested, I mean, think about how your whole family in an instant torn apart, torn to pieces. Horrible in every way. And he always said he never did it. And no witnesses said he did it. And there's no forensic evidence. So are you going to convict a guy off that? And then evidence was mishandled? I don't know. It sounds compelling to me. So as of right now, he's free. Murder charges dropped. Murder charges dropped. I always have a hard time talking when I'm on the show. So it is interesting. Like we'll follow up more with that. But I just saw that, and I remember that story being such like a crazy story when I first heard it. And I still think that it's still a crazy story, but I always wanted to follow up on that. Here we go. Got some new news. So let's see. Nuggets going crazy in the chat. Yes, Jesus, why? How is he released? How? Oh, true. You just went through like all 7 phases of acceptance right there. This is like shock, anger, bargaining, acceptance. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. You went through everything. Now, to finish off today, we've got something so mind-boggling. I don't even know. I literally can't even with this next one because it makes no sense to me whatsoever. Trell the Great, I have, because of Nikki MGTV, I've seen him. I've seen him recently because of Nikki MGTV's videos about him. I hope he does well out of the Navy. Good luck to him outside of the Navy. My messages are grief in a nutshell. Yes, the 7 stages of grief or whatever. So do you guys remember 2 years ago-ish, a report came out that the Pentagon massively failed an audit on how it spends money, like billions of dollars unaccounted for, equipment unaccounted for, programs that are funding, they can't explain why, not good accounting practices, all that stuff, right? I've been saying forever, the way that the military hemorrhages and wastes money it's mind-numbing. It's incomprehensible how much money the military wastes. Bad contracts, fraudulent contracts, wasting money, kicking back money to all different kinds of people, siphoning contracts through different layers of companies to get the most amount of money out of the government. This stuff is horrendous. The fact that the military every September tells you to spend $800,000 on printer paper and staplers because otherwise you're going to lose your budget for the next year. Does anybody need any new sunglasses or coats or anything like that? Because if we don't waste all this money, we're not going to get it next year. So hurry up, spend it. We got to spend it. Get your requests up to supply. Spend the money. It's freaking insane. Okay? It's insane. All that budget should be rollover dollars, just like the old phone plans with rollover minutes. You don't spend it, you just get it next year. We'll just keep funding it, and then exactly the way that we are. And if you have a surplus, that's great. Use it when you need it. And as the government, we'll use it when we need it too. We'll take back your surplus. Too easy. How is that not the way it's done? It's totally insane. So, especially when we can just throw around trillions of dollars like it's play money with COVID and all that. So, when I heard this, I had flashbacks to traumatic experiences of how poorly the military handles money and supplies. But I can't believe this one. Senator demands Army accountability after report finds nearly 2,000 missing military weapons. 2,000 missing military weapons? What? Deep sixing a weight room because you don't want to take time craning it off. Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, stuff like that. Having been a supply PO, this is so true. So, it's so true. So true. Senator demands Army accountability. 2,000 missing weapons? This is, you guys remember hearing about like how the guys at, what was it, Lejeune or whatever, had to stay at work for days because they had a missing rifle, missing NVGs, stuff like that. Sensitive items, what are called sensitive items? Senator Richard Blumenthal on Tuesday called on Army leaders to investigate blood-curdling news report that found nearly 2,000 military firearms went missing during the 2010s and demanded greater accountability for lost or stolen weapons. Let me tell you guys about chain of custody, okay? Here's how it would work if I wanted to check out a weapon from the armory. I would go to the armory. I would have already put in, first of all, I would already have to do a request for a weapon. Then I would have to go into the armory, which would require me to sign in, use my social security number, my CAC card, my face, cameras, another sign-in sheet, through 4 locked doors, checking with the armorer. Now I'm inside the building. I go inside the building. The armorer escorts me to the cage, as you might call it, the locker where the weapons are kept. I would go in there. I would look over my weapon. I would check its serial number. I would sign it out, and any other equipment, so like a scope, a laser, magazines, all those things would go onto an 1149 or a supply form, basically a supply custody form. That thing would be signed by me, signed by the armorer. Then the armorer would take a copy of it, and I would take a copy of it. Then that weapon would be in my hands or in my view or locked up all the time until I eventually turn it back into the armorer, go through that whole process in reverse, re-sign the 1149. They take custody of it back. Then the armory, if you guys have read An Officer and a Man by Jacob Donenworth, great book. He was on the show to talk about it. You would know how serious armory policies are. The armory has to account for their weapons, monthly, wall-to-wall inventories. Weapons are one of the most extremely important assets that the military takes care of as far as the supply system goes. The idea that 2,000 of these could be missing in a decade, over the course of a decade, literally melts my brain out of my ears. My brain is inside of my headphones right now, no longer in my head. It's in my headphones, and as soon as I take these headphones out, my brain is going to spill onto the floor, and I'm going to be dead. So I guess this is the last episode of the ScuttleButt Show, because my brain is in my headphones right now. Not only, it gets worse. I wish that was all I had to say about it. And now they're out there looking for them. No, these weapons have turned up on the streets being used for crimes. So the Associated Press released, where am I? The report is absolutely blood-curdling. The idea that pistols, assault weapons, and grenade launchers are missing from armories of the United States military because they've been lost or stolen without any apparent accounting, without any reporting to Congress, is incredibly alarming and astonishing, Blumenthal said during a Senate Armed Services Committee hearing. Yeah, I would agree. The Associated Press released the results of a year-long investigation Tuesday and found that 1,900 military firearms were lost or stolen during the 2010s, some of which turned up at the scene of violent crimes. Stamped right there, property of the U.S. government, with the serial number right below that. Army, Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force government records reveal pistols, machine guns, shotguns, automatic assault rifles, which are probably just M4s and M16s, have disappeared from armories, supply warehouses, and other places where they were used, stored, or transported, according to the AP report. Because M4s have fully auto feature, the military versions do. Blumenthal asked newly appointed Army Secretary Christine Wormuth and General James McConville, the Army Chief of Staff, whether they would commit to investigating the issue. This should be a no-brainer, but let's see what they say. My understanding is that the cases of weapons from any branch of the services being unaccounted for and getting into the hands of civilians is likely to be a small number, but particularly given these reports, I commit to you that this is something we will look into. 1,900 is not a small number, the article goes on to say, and I agree. 1,900 is kind of a goddamn insane number. 1,900? Do you know what would happen to me, for example, just going back to my time in the Navy? If I had lost a gun, I'd be in jail. This is not a joke. This is one of the most serious things that the military deals with. Is weapons, night vision goggles, radios, lasers. The military has all kinds of weapons in its arsenal, including AK-47s, MP5s, as Justin just said. Grenade launchers, they're probably talking about 40 Mike launchers like an M203, for example. Like I said, my brain's in my ears. They took the M32 rotary. Of course, they took the MP5. I thought it would be mostly handguns, but something like a saw. I feel like Ryan Gosling in that one scene from Blade Runner. Nugget says, I wonder if there are probably some MP5s. What kind of weapons are missing and how can I find them? Sell it back to the military. Love how Trey Gowdy handled them. Let's see. I think we'd be open to a reporting requirement, it says. Cracks and accountability have emerged since the end of the requirement. Army and Air Force, for example, couldn't readily tell the AP how many weapons were lost or stolen from 2010 to 2019. I do wonder, the only thing that I could imagine here is the only way, twisted to the lethal twisted tees on the street, the only way, because I've racked what was left of my brain before it fell out of my goddamn head through my ears into my headphones, the only way that I can possibly see this happening and it not be heads rolling right now, the only way I can see this having gotten through the cracks is this. Weapons written off as combat losses because they were involved in vehicle, people were on board with this scam, and anytime a vehicle would get blown up by an IED or something, they would take that many guns and say that those guns were the ones that were blown up in the truck. It's the only way I can possibly see it happening. If a plane crashed in Afghanistan or Iraq or anywhere, and there were weapons on that plane, let's say five M4s, a 240, 6 SIGs, well, there you go. That's how many you can steal. And you can write them off as being lost in that crash. Something like that is the only way that I've been able to come up with that this could possibly have happened at this scale, is that there were a lot of people involved in one scam, and that was how they did it. Any other explanation is kind of lost to me right now. I can't believe 1,900 weapons went missing from armories and nobody noticed that this was a trending problem. They just wrote it off. They just DD200 it as a lost weapon or whatever. Doesn't jive, okay? That does not drive. Or possibly weapons made from parts over time, maintenance. That's a good question too. The article doesn't make it seem like that's it, but I guess it could be. That's actually a good idea too. So the way that the article makes it seem is that they lost whole weapons, but that is a good point too. The armorers could have assembled weapons from parts and sold them on the street. That's actually a good idea too. Sir, how did you destroy 500 rounds of ammo from a weapons misfire? Shut up, don't ask any questions. Yeah, it's freaking insane. Insane. How did they, I do want to know more. I am invested now in this story to know more. That would be a lot of gun decking going on. Yes, that would be a lot of gun decking. That would be a lot of shoddy maintenance. Gun decking, of course, if you guys don't know, Navy terminology right there, is when you say you've done something, but you have not done it. Basically, in very simple terms, if I was supposed to do a job and I signed that job off, so to speak, that I had done it, and I had not actually done it, I have gun decked it. 1,900 is not many, especially over time. What? Is that a joke? I assume you're joking. 1,900? Now let me ask you, because you say not many over time. Are you prior service? Have you ever in the military worked with weapons and handled weapons and understand the chain of custody of weapons? If you do, if you do understand how the chain of custody of weapons is supposed to be handled in the military, 1 is a lot. 2 is insane. 1,900, like I said, it melted my brain out of my ears. I can't imagine. Because there's not even 1,900 armories. You understand? So Think of all the bases in the United States. That's 1,900 weapons, theoretically, missing from just the number of armories that are in the United States. And I don't know how many armories there are total, but I don't think there's 1,900. There's, every base has a few, and there's 200 bases in the United States? Maybe. I made over 1,900. Bro, I was in the Marines. I can easily see how this could happen. So you said your idea was because it was maintenance of parts over time. So you were in the Marines. Okay. Thank you for your service. I'm glad I know who I'm talking to now. Because if you're a Marine, do you think you could have just lost your weapon without any consequences and nobody wondering, and then you could have sold it somehow and done this at scale? People could have done this at scale? I don't know. It doesn't sound right to me. It does not check out to me. Because this means this is happening multiple armories or multiple times at the same armories over this time. So when would somebody trigger like an assessment and investigation over how this is happening? I don't know. I don't know how every Marine and Army and Air Force and Navy armory works, but the ones that I've been to were pretty strict about this stuff. It was pretty strict. And if you lost a weapon, oh my God. I can think of days going out on ops and I would have my NVGs in my pouch. And if I didn't even check them for a few hours, I'd be like, oh my God. And I would grab them. Like, oh, thank God. My NVGs are still there. I would have a total freak out because I knew the consequences were insane. Let's see. Juan says, waiting for the comment to pop up. I saw you commented something. I'm waiting for it to pop up on my screen. So yeah, I would have a total freak out. I don't know how 1,900 weapons in the 2010s could go missing and kind of nobody noticed. Oh, I got to go live chat. I got to go all my comments. Something happened here. I did not see a comment. Here we go. It was constantly wearing out over time. Yeah, but then you got to turn them in for disposal. Small potatoes. Bro, we could get recalled and search gear bags for just one hard drive or knee board. Small potatoes. I don't agree. It doesn't, what you're saying, maybe you had a different, you obviously had a different experience in the Marine Corps than I had in the Navy, but that doesn't jive. That, yes, it wears out over time, but then you would turn it into the armory. You would turn the part into the armory for repair or maintenance or whatever, and all those parts are supposed to be accounted for. So either way, even if you say it was easy to do, it's a massive breakdown in the system. Because if those weapons ended up on the streets, they did not go through the supply chain to get there. What's the article found the story interesting? I am going to link it in the comments. And that's it for today. So those are all the stories that I have for today. Tomorrow we'll be out there with the Q&A, normal Q&A stuff. Sorry if I missed any comments today. I always forget to change over to live chat instead of top comments. It gets turned into recycling. Yeah, but it's supposed to be, there's supposed to be custody, chain of custody the whole way. So the weapons should never end up just out on the street. They should always be accounted for from like cradle to grave, custody. So we can talk more about it tomorrow. I'm shocked that 1,900 military weapons would end up just, nobody knows where they are, and some of them are turning up on the street. I think it's crazy, but we'll see. We can talk more about it. So with all that being said, I appreciate you guys being here. Check out the links in the description, all the ways to support the channel. Become a member. I would love to see a new member this week. I would love to see a new green icon and chat pop up next to somebody's name. That would be fantastic before the week is over. Buy a t-shirt down at ScuttleButtShow.com, link in the description. Buy a mug, buy a desk mat, whatever. We got all the stuff over there. With all that being said, I look forward to talking to you guys very soon. And for now, that's the Scuttlebutt.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.